Okay, there were a couple questions on percent composition by mass on the test, and the equation for percent composition is on table T. It is right here, percent composition by mass. There it is, look it up, make sure that you put everything in the right place, make sure you don't forget the times 100. Here it is blown up a little bit, and it's very simple. It's just mass of part divided by mass of whole times 100. The mass of part is what we're messing up. If you made a mistake, you probably messed up the mass of part. This would be our notes, just writing this equation, but also please point to the mass of part and make a note. You are using the atomic mass of the part they ask for, but if the compound has more than one of that element, you need the mass of part to be more than one of that element. If there's 2 nitrogens, you need the mass of 2 nitrogens. If there's 3 oxygens, you need the mass of 3 oxygens. It may or may not be just one of that atom. You've got to look at that thing in the compound. You've got to use whatever that part is in that compound as you see it. So let's go to one of the questions. Question 2 on version A of the test is the percent composition by mass of nitrogen in that compound. It is also question 12 on version B of the test. So we're looking at either 2 or 12. Okay? If you made a mistake, this is probably what you showed. So write this, but we're going to fix it. The percent by mass of nitrogen in this compound, here I have the atomic mass of a nitrogen, and many students did this. They put 1 nitrogen on the top, and then on the bottom they put the mass of the whole darn thing, and they did it correctly. And this is, of course, 2 nitrogens. This is 8 hydrogens. I should say the mass of 8 hydrogens. This is 1 carbon. And this is 3 oxygens. There's 2 nitrogens. So the mass of part needs to be 2 nitrogens. You got to times that by 2. If you took this compound and you broke it up, there would be 2 nitrogens, there would be 8 hydrogens. If you broke it up element by element, you would get 2 nitrogens out of this. They would both have mass. The mass of those 2 nitrogens, it's not like one of them weighs something and the other one is invisible. They're both there. They both have mass. Okay, this is what it looks like. If you didn't have this set up, pause it and make sure that you write it, and then try and do the math before you hit play again. Okay. It turns into this. The 2 nitrogens end up being about 28. The whole darn thing ends up being about 96. Don't forget the times 100, and the answer becomes 29.2% if you very carefully divide the top by the bottom, hit enter, then times 100. Allow me to say, too, if they want a correct numerical setup, this works or this works, but do not forget the times 100 for a correct numerical setup. Numerical means numbers. Okay. There was also an open response question. Okay. Question 23 said, determine the percent composition by mass of antimony in stibnite. And if you panicked and said, I don't know what antimony is, I don't know what stibnite is, then you did not work hard enough to find the information. So antimony is SB. You can use your reference tables to figure that out. And if you have no idea what stibnite is, read. There it is. They mention it up here. Okay? This is the only guy involved in this calculation. How much antimony is in that stibnite? We do not need the equation. The rest of this is not involved. Some of you guys did percent compositions that had oxygen in them here. There's no oxygen in stibnite. In stibnite, there's 2 antimonies and 3 sulfurs. So let's work on that. The mass of part is the two antimonies. The mass of whole is the mass of the whole thing. So this is 2 SBs. SB is antimony. This is 3 sulfurs. Okay? And again, 2 antimonies, because there are 2 of them in the compound. So the mass of part is those 2 guys. And punch it out if you didn't get this right. It ends up being those numbers, and it ends up being 71.68%. Okay? Or something close to it that rounds to that. Now that you've fixed these in your test, and when you fix them in your test, I want you to actually write the equations out in your test, show the math, show what your mistake was. If you got the answer that was half of the right answer, that means you didn't do the 2 times. Okay? And now here's the additional problem you're going to tackle on your own. Show the math and the answer.